ahead and start part 2. So the next question here, is there such thing as a healthy family? And if
That's a good
so,
question.
what does it look like?
Yes, there is a healthy family. There are a lot of unhealthy families. So if you compare and contrast, healthy families talk. They talk to each other. They make decisions together. They plan together. They carry out plans together. They follow through plans together. They're consistent. That's what a healthy family basically is. It's one that recognizes the value of each other and then uses each other in a way of contributing to a decision-making plan, so that what you do on the weekend, what you do during the day, what you do at night, how you function as a family, the rules of the home. It's a family activity. It's a family joint effort. That's what healthy families do.
So are you saying that parents actually include the children in the decision-making process?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kids have their value. You don't necessarily take the kid's point of view or his demand or his request. You consider it. You listen to it. You involve the child's ideas as a contributing factor to the ultimate decision. But dad makes the decision. Mom makes the decision. As a family, we make decisions together.
Okay, so it reminds me a little bit of the difference between the authoritative and the authoritarian. How would you describe, what's the difference between those two
Well, there is
sides?
a little bit of a difference there, but it's the authoritarian is I just make the decision. I don't care what you think. So you don't really even involve the ideas of anybody else. You only just make the decision what you think is the best for you and for everybody else.
Right.
So as compared to a equalitarian kind of a family where everybody has equal vote, that's probably not good either. At some point, somebody's got to stand up and say, this is what we are going to do, and we have to then respect that and then follow that as a family.
So there needs to be leadership.
That's what the parent is.
Okay. All families have traditions. So what are some regular practices or traditions that all families should engage in order to be successful? So, for example, I know a lot of families eat dinner together. Is that important?
Yes, it is important. And what I find in my practice as a psychologist, very few families eat together at all during the course of the week, and not even in proximity to each other. But together is a way of talking. It's a way of thinking together. It's a way of planning together. It's a way of bonding together. And if you don't have those together times, and mealtime is one of those, if you don't have those together times, then you have this split family. Kids go off in their own direction. Parents go off in their direction. So you have this kind of idea that we aren't one. We're just a series of 3 or 4 or 5 people living independent, separate lives. And as a family, it's a bond. It's a united bond. It's a united effort. It's coming together. And if you don't come together, then there is no together.
Well, so let's say you're in a family and you've never had the tradition of eating together. And now you suddenly, as the parent, you're like realizing maybe we need to be doing this. How would you then start from not doing it and beginning the practice?
Well, somebody's got to stand up and say, this is a value we're going to start within the family. This is something that is important, so we're going to do this. So somebody has just take the leadership and just say so. And then you plan, accordingly. And sure, you're going to get a little resistance, but you exercise the idea that this is necessary, it's important to us. This is the way that we're going to live. We don't care how other people live. Other people live differently. But this is how we're going to live. You may have to kind of do this over a period of course of maybe a month. Maybe you eat together once or twice a week. And then maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And then maybe 4 or 5 times a week. Whatever the schedules allow. I mean, kids have their schedule. Parents have their schedule. So maybe it's not possible to do it every single day or every single night. But you can have breakfast together. You can have a dinner together. Probably not have lunch together. So there's opportunities in taking those.
Right.
If you don't have a meal together, you might have a dessert together.
That's what I was thinking. In today's world, so many families are involved. Their kids are in all different sports, and they're spending a lot of time driving here and there.
Yeah, that's all part of it.
Dinners are hard.
But you have to figure out how we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
And if you can't have a meal together, you can have some time together. You can have pre-bedtime together. You play a game together or you do something.
Sure.
It's that coming together. Nothing important about a meal. What is important is that you come together.
Right.
And families need those together times.
In your book, you talk about a family should have a mission statement. Why?
Yeah, what
does that mean?
What do we stand for as a family? I think of the biblical phrase, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Was that Jeremiah? So therefore you have this kind of idea that as for our home, this is how we live. And the mission statement is basically that we're going to respect each other, we're going to involve each other, we're going to be honorable to each other, we're going to help each other. I mean, there's a number of statements of that nature that you can come up with, and a family should come up with such a statement.
Sure.
I mean, however they prefer to have it. But it's that concept of how are we going to live as a family? We don't care how other people live. It's how we're going to live.
Right.
And then we fit life into it.
Good. Great. What about discipline? Children, as parents, we find ourselves in situations we have to make a lot of decisions about discipline. What are some general guidelines you would give on that?
Well, discipline needs to be consistent, no matter how you discipline. What you allow today, you allow tomorrow and the next day, and so on. What you do not allow today, and you do not allow the next day. So that consistency is very, very important. The other factor is that you have to set your expectations early in life, and early in the day, and early in the week, and what do we expect of each other this week, or today, or always. So that expectation is a very important kind of thing to communicate as well. And then the issue of how are we going to reward each other? How are we going to praise each other? How are we going to recognize each other's contribution, to the family and celebrate that? So family time is a time of setting expectations, but also celebrating the keeping of those expectations.
Excellent. Great. Non-custodial parents. Maybe define that and tell us maybe what are some advice you would give to non-custodial.
Well, we live in a day where divorce is very common, I guess is the word. And so we have parents that are not necessarily the primary parent of custody of a child. Maybe they only have a weekend. So you have very little opportunity to parent a child in that kind of way. But it's the same thing. When you're with me, these are the expectations. When you're with the other parent, there are different expectations. So each parent has to set their own expectations so that the child knows how to live in that particular home or that particular family context. And that has to be communicated. We can't force another parent to live a certain way.
Right.
We can only set up with our own particular family. So that's kind of the idea of that. But the non-custodial parent has to be forthright and has to be direct and has to be open and has to be giving, because there is this kind of inadequacy you have, inadequate time, inadequate power. So exercise as much as you can, but be consistent, love your kid, and you have to hope for the best, I guess, after that.
Good. All right. Thank you. Well, this concludes part 2.